So very much something in the background that I do for going forward in a high degree of higher education. So very much love that I do and able to implement it in my current work. So again, thank you all so much for having me here and looking forward to connecting.
Awesome. We're very grateful to have you with us. All right. So some of the big topics that we as counselors hear a lot. So we're kind of highlighting for you all. The first of which is college admissions tests. So if anyone here has a student who's a junior, it is April. It is a big month for them. And also we have PSAT and all of those grade assessments as well. So there some questions include any differences between big differences that you see or notice between the SAT and the ACT. Yeah, I'll just pause there. Any sort of difference or preference whatsoever.
I want to say that directed to me, Nicholas.
Yeah.
Okay,
All these.
good. No worries at all. For CU Boulder, there are no differences between the ACT and the SAT. Generally, what I always encourage students is to definitely get a glimpse in on those college preparatory tests, standardized tests to see which one they see their strength in. And also doesn't hurt as well that most institutions are currently developing tables where they give an average of students admitted to their institution or college looking forward to attending. So, for example, a great resource I often encourage students to take a peek at. You can Google this. It's the CU Boulder admitted student average. A great table will pop right up, and it will show you the average. Excuse me, the average GPA, the average test scores for not only just the overall institution, but each college, school, and program that CU Boulder has.
Nice, wonderful, and that's great. I just Googled it and it popped right up. So appreciate that. Also, at Northfield, your students get a lot of practice and exposure to these types of exams through the PSAT. We even have a practice day. So come junior year, when you're taking that college admissions exam, like the SAT, you're ready, you've been exposed, been there, done that, and in an environment at your school that you're comfortable in. So thank you for that. The next one is how heavily, often we have to wonder how heavily are these standardized scores looked at? Because also you hear of schools who go test optional. So a curiosity often is shared by our students about that topic.
I love this question. So, from CU Boulder's perspective, we do practice a holistic review process. So, we look at everything a student submits with their application. And for CU, we are a test optional institution. I know that we're still recovering from the pandemic compared to our campus partners, CSU, University of Denver, CU Denver, and Colorado Springs. So generally right now for CU Boulder, we're still test optional. So if students would like to add their test scores with their admission application, certainly feel free to do so. If not, it definitely won't be counted against you. Generally, as an advice for students, sometimes they come and visit with us. They're like, what about my GPA? You know, I know CU Boulder kind of looks at heavily on the GPA. And if you look at that admitted student average table, you kind of see either really kind of high up there, especially for a lead school of business and a college of engineering. So generally, my advice, as I tell students, like maybe enforce your score, your test score in there to definitely highlight your qualities in academia. It definitely shows merit as well and the discipline you've worked hard through test preparation and getting that score. So definitely I encourage students to think of it in that realm. And certainly if your score is certainly not within that range, I tell students still feel free to add it in because these are just the averages, nothing. And as always, nothing that we reflect on heavily. We take account to everything else they input in the application. And then I also want to also share a note that for CU Boulder, we have no admitted student GPA. There's no GPA that's required as part of the application for CU Boulder. I know a lot of students are like, does your school have a required GPA? We do not. So I always tell students to put their best foot forward when they're getting ready for the application season.
Thank you. Perfect. And next one, any additional advice about admission testing? Usually for us, on the school side, it is to show up, take your PSAT, and all practice opportunities. There are free resources. Um, uh, Correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Cox, is it Princeton Review is our preparation, our practice to really prepare your students for these types of tests and standardized and college admissions experiences. Anything else that you would add you should, like a student should or may want to do?
Yeah, I would say for the standardized tests, definitely take your time. And another thing that we often see is to get a good sense of your timeline when going to begin these tests. I know the special timelines that weigh maybe a big part for a student as they're getting ready to apply and submit their application. So I definitely say take your time, talk to your family, strategize about when you see best fit for you to take the exam. So that way it's not a herring or holding you back when you're getting ready to submit your application. And there's not always a guarantee as well for most institutions that if you submit your application on an early action deadline, we cannot guarantee it will be included once the deadline has passed. So those are some key notes to keep in mind. So definitely take your time, prepare, look at those timelines when you want to take the exam to give you a better sense to strengthen your application.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Perfect. Thank you. All right. Next topic is grades. Um, Students often ask me, what is the difference between a weighted and an unweighted? So we explain how weighted takes into account rigor, right? And GPA points, weighted GPA points. Um, so then they ask, well, which one matters more? So just wanted to kick that to you over at Boulder. What do y'all look at?
Yeah, so for CU Boulder, we look at rated GPA. We understand that all schools they maneuver differently in regards to calculating their GPAs, which I learned through my first year within the role. So for CU, we take account to the rated GPA and academic rigor. We look at what type of courses a student is taking. That is part of the process of the holistic review when we look at student applications.
Perfect. And that ties into especially weighted GPA, class rank. Um, a lot of students in their transcripts see their class rank and they always wonder how closely is that looked at and what is good, what is bad, do I need to hit a certain percentage, what was your experience with class rank?
Yeah. So for CU, we don't necessarily take into account highly on class rank. I would say this falls more so in the scholarship realm. Definitely these kind of adhere to the eligibility criteria as we do offer automatic consideration scholarships. So those are the key points where we take account for students. We reward them on their class rank and their GPA. So we take that all into account in reviewing the application. So I would say definitely those small metrics do count for bigger when reviewing for scholarship opportunities.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah.
Let's see. Any last bits of advice when it comes to grades for either a freshman or a sophomore or a junior?
Yes, actually, I like this question. I actually brought up a point. I always strategize with students, especially when after the fall semester, maybe there was one or two courses they didn't do so well in, and then they're getting ready to apply for the spring. They're like, how does this account for, excuse me, for looking at my application? Part of our holistic review, we have a section in the Common App where it's like, I think I want to say additional notes. This is where I really share with students to highlight to us, like, share with us what happened. Just kind of share with us. No, it won't be shared anywhere else. This is all private. So we ask them to give us insight into their journey. What are you going to do now for the spring to bounce back from that? Are you going to go to tutoring? Are you going to meet with your teacher more? Are you getting additional support academia wise? So those are some key things I encourage students to think about, even if it's not only just your senior year, prior years before that, just to give a good sense of sharing with us what you did as a backup plan to prepare to help us learn a bit more about yourself when we're looking at your application.
Nice, nice, thank you. Appreciate that. All right. Next one, course rigor. So in terms of taking on a challenge, right? Is it better to take a harder class and maybe get a B or a C versus taking an easier class and getting maybe an A or a B? What would you say in terms of taking on that challenge in a rigorous course?
Yeah, I love this question. So definitely, I still encourage students to definitely try your best to take those challenging courses along your academic journey. I would say if you're looking more of to gain knowledge, because you are going to be a life learner when you get into college, and it kind of moves with you. So I would say for the College of Engineering in particular and the Lead School of Business, these are the classes I would say that will prepare you so much going into your first year. I think the most frequent feedback we receive from students when they begin their first year at CU Boulder is like, oh, I'm so happy I took AP chemistry, or I learned more about economics and stats in these AP courses. And I'm like, yeah, definitely a lot of that material will definitely come back in full circle for you in CU Boulder when you start. So it definitely makes the rigor from high school transitioning into college a bit more easier, and it helps in development too, as well as you advance your knowledge going further in your college years.
Perfect. Thank you. Um, and here at Northfield, we have a lot as an IB for All school of those rigorous offerings. Um, Students ask us, we offer multiple types of challenges. Many of our classes are IB, a small handful are AP, and also a small handful are CE. Sorry about all the acronyms here. So International Baccalaureate, Advanced Placement through College Board, and then concurrent enrollment with our like community college partners. Um, any variations or differences you see amongst those three flavors of rigorous courses?
Yeah, honestly, I would say the only thing I would take note of for any AP or IB is to take account if you're going to take the exam for those specific subjects. So I'm going to give you another cool tool here that we have. I definitely encourage you to Google CU Boulder credit examination. You can even put IB AP in there with it. There should be another table that pops up for you. We have all IB subject tests as well as AP in there, and it all goes based off of the student's exam score for IB or AP. And then there's even a column there that even shows you what that depends on the score of what that credit will be used for at CU Boulder. So I definitely encourage students to kind of make that like as you start getting your senior schedule, if that's a goal you want to have, like I want to get maybe my general credits out of the way my first year so I can start focusing more on my core classes at the end of my first year and starting into your second year. So that's definitely a great resource I encourage students to make a note of, to reference to. There's no special preference given to either or IB or AP. So I would say that would be a great resource tool for students to look at when planning for their senior schedule. And then for concurrent enrollment, I say these are a great stepping tool for students if you're looking to enroll in concurrent enrollment courses. Definitely, if you have the time and capacity to do so, definitely I honor it. A great tool, another great tool I want to share is Transferology. Transferology is an amazing tool I encourage students to create. It's a free resource. You create a student account completely free. And generally, how the resource works is you enter in your course number and your course section, as well as a course title. And based off of that information, and no matter where you're taking it from, either at CU Denver, Red Rocks, Front Range, that will determine the status of how we accept that credit at CU Boulder, and even shows you what that credit will be utilized at CU. So definitely use some keen resources. I encourage students. Definitely helps a lot. I did help a student with this. It helped her a lot to navigate her in her course scheduling for senior year.
That is amazing. And I'm bookmarking right now because transferology, huge. That's a new
Yes.
resource that here has not experienced before. So I'm very, very excited and grateful for that. Thank you for sharing that. I've definitely looked at with students the credit by examination, but transferology also I think another helpful tool. And like I said,
Yes.
when exploring and deciding, it's good to know that I'm taking this many IB courses. I could earn up to this many credits because credits equals time and dollars. So, you know, it adds up.
Yeah, exactly. We're the same mentality. Exactly. I tell students all the time. We actually have a colleague of mine. Her name is Perry. She's an alum of Northfield High School. She can definitely vouch for her IB diploma, accounting for a good majority of her courses at CU Boulder. But again, it also depends on your major as well. So it does serve a great benefit to students when looking to that transition to college.
Perfect. Thank you. And also, if you click on the bottom right down here where the chat icon is next to the little people, Ms. Cox is putting in all of these links for you and pinning them. So, all of those things, the transferology link, the link for IB and AP credits, link for the parking lot, the admissions table. So, as we go, she's pinning those helpful links for you all as well. So, just wanted to call that out for all of you. Perfect. That perhaps the course rigor slide and questions. Personal essays. I will say, working with seniors year after year, that especially supplemental essays, this is what keeps my seniors very busy in the fall, right? It's an exciting time, and it's a time where you're a senior taking courses while also it's kind of like a part-time job applying to college, right? Finding scholarships, completing essays. So first question seniors ask me all the time, Mister, how much do they matter? So, what would you say in terms of personal essays?
Yes, they do matter a great deal. Just to kind of give you a preface, we don't get to meet a lot of our students that apply to CE Bowler. So this is a chance of where we get to see your personality, learn more about you, see what type of student you are through your essay. As much as we love to meet all of our students that apply to CU Boulder, very rare that we get to meet all of them, but we look at this picture of the essay of getting to know you more. So that is something we hope that students can learn a bit more. Additionally, as well, we look at your writing skill. We look at some tales of your life in the past. I think a great example that I still remember to this day of a student essay. She referenced it to the rainbow of how psychology of color is a big factor in her life, and this theory came into play her junior year when she took a concurrent enrollment course. So that to me showed like creativity. She was able to introduce her academia level, definitely strategize of her skill and writing. So it's definitely cool to mess around and definitely brainstorm, and definitely I encourage students as well that I know it's going to take the extra time, but have a few eyes on your essay. Does it hurt to add in like, does it sound cheesy? Does it sound too like straightforward? What else can I add? What else can I take out? Am I going off topic a little bit? Definitely invest in the time, because you want your counselor or the people that are reviewing your application to learn about you. And then, like for me, I love referencing to students like, I remember this essay because this student wrote about this, and that's how I kind of remember them based off of their essay.
Yes. Perfect. And that kind of gets to, I think you kind of partially answered it here. How much time should I spend? So I think maybe the answer isn't quantifiable, like you should spend this many hours, but maybe it's a collaboration. You're writing it, you walk away from it, you come back and revise your draft, you have some friendly, helpful eyes on it. Any other advice you would say in addition to that?
Yeah. And just kind of provide like with the standardized testing timeline. Definitely, I say map out your writing time, even if it's like a random point of the night during your English class. Maybe you save some time after school, after practice, just kind of get it started. And I know we have our random moments of inspiration, so I definitely tell students to take a moment and just free write and then fix it later. See what general themes you start to develop throughout your essay writing. Also, too, I encourage students to kind of put on their calendar some keen deadlines, like our application deadlines, early action, or regular decisions, so you have ample time and not waiting until the day before to have your essay ready. And I'm pretty sure your teacher would also appreciate not kind of doing last minute edits as well when a deadline comes up pretty quickly. So do yourself the favor, save the stress. Also, as well, if you're looking to apply during the Colorado Free App Days, students, from what I've heard, they got started the first week of returning back to school of the college writing. They had like writing workshops, they had incentives for their students, and then sometimes, generally, college admission counselors would come over and assist as well, either virtually or in person. So those are definitely some things to maybe think about how you can get that investment to your essay and make sure you're proud of it as well when you're getting ready to submit that application.
Perfect. Thank you. And agreed. Cannot agree enough. As a person who works in a school who might have had 100 seniors this year, those last minute crunches, well, totally understandable because we love our kids, sometimes are hard. So sometimes backwards planning, hey, early action is November 1, so let's back it up. I need to give my teachers and my counselor a 2-week turnaround time for a letter of recommendation, or I need this much time, right? 3 to 5 days for my transcript requests, right? So maybe don't apply and then expect the letters to be written in 24 hours. That's hard for high school staff. So backwards planning. If November 1 is that time, then plan to have all of your stuff good to go maybe 3 weeks before that to provide you ample time, or maybe have it done a week early even is still great. Preempt early, ask for those teacher letters for recommendation, counselor letters of recommendation, all that good stuff. And the last piece there is how I get this question all the time. How do I stand out? And I try to give the answer of, well, you got to be you, right? So we're not looking for everyone who can juggle on a unicycle. We're looking for you to be you. Any other tips in terms of that? How to stand out as someone who reads a lot of these essays?
Yeah, it's a tough question for me to answer. I get it a lot on the road as well during traveling season. So generally, my advice for students is we have a variety of prompts when you're beginning to write your personal essay. So I would say take the time to read through those prompts. I even want to say they're on our admissions. I want to say if you Google CU Boulder first year plan, scroll down a little bit on the page, there should be a module box in there that says application steps, common essay, personal essay should be linked in there with the example prompts of what will be on the application. So definitely encourage students to check that out to see if there is one out there that points out to you. Also, when I share with students, you even get the option to free write. You get to pick any topic. If none of them relate to you, you can pick just the general overall topic. Like, I just want to free write. I want to share a bit more about myself. I encourage students, like, try to tailor it creatively to your future studies. Like, if you want to be in aerospace engineering, you can share, like, one student shared with me, they went to Florida, they went to NASA, they were able to go explore the center. They built so much knowledge. Later on, they went on to summer camp with NASA, and it builds into their investment into aerospace field. So anything of that realm you can contribute to your essay to kind of share with us, either leading to your path, why you want to go to college, pursuing a certain degree. Please share that with us as much as you can, so that way we can learn a bit more about you through your words of what you want to do as your academic investment going forward.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you. All right. Let's see. And we kind of touched on this letters of recommendation. And it is something, it sounds silly, right? I just need letters to brag about me, but it's a thing for our seniors. So they ask, who is best to ask for a letter? How many? And I'll kind of lump these together. And then how much do they?
Yeah, this is my favorite part I love to talk about. So, first tip, students definitely take the ample time to ask the person you want to ask for a letter of recommendation. This is a person that's writing a glowing letter on your behalf. They want to highlight all of your key qualities, as well as any type of challenges, obstacles you encountered. How did you bounce back from that? I encourage students, like there was even one student that asked their math teacher that gave them a C one semester, and they're like, it was hard to ask for a letter, but I brought up the courage and I did. This is what they said. And in the letter, the teacher highlighted like she was overachiever. She did her best to overcome these tests and exams, which is the main reason for her letter grade, but she powered through. She worked hard. She went to tutoring. She came after hours. She came to office hours. So it still shows to us like she did the work. She took the extra mile to actually go to the far length of distance to get the best grade she could in the course. And that letter spoke for it. So definitely give that ample time to ask your teacher. We definitely ask students to ask a teacher that can really write this letter on your behalf. And for CU Boulder, as part of our admission application, we do ask for one letter of recommendation to be submitted with your application. We welcome more than one. This can also be like your art teacher, an elective teacher, someone in concurrent dual enrollment course, and then your favorite teacher. So wide variety of selection. There's never a limit to letter recommendations we can accept. So definitely we do just generally ask for one. And then how much do they matter? It plays a significant part, again, where you want a glowing letter that recommends you to the university. They can show off your accolades. They can share with us a bit more what type of student you are, because they were able to see you in a classroom, and we want to learn from your teacher's point of view what type of student you are inside the classroom.
Thank you. And I would say I would pair that with also when approaching a teacher or a staff member for a letter of recommendation, um, I like the face to face moment to say, hey, remember me? You might have had me last year, or you might have been my teacher 2 years in a row because I really love our biomedical pathway. Um, what would you write me a letter? And also we provide students what's called kind of like a brag sheet, just a frame for them to start thinking about themselves because this is new and weird um, of what to brag about, right? So remember when I did that awesome thing and I competed at HOSA, or I did that awesome thing in business and I competed and won at the state level in DECA, stuff like that. And it helps people like myself who
Yeah.
loves all of his students, but might not remember out of my 350 what one did last year. So it's not for a lack of love. It is most certainly just an effort of I ask for that so I can do my best job possible for you to hit on those awesome points about yourself. So you're putting your best foot forward, and I'm one of your shoes too. So I'm representing you as well as humanly possible as well.
I love that. Thank you. And you did touch on a great point, especially on as much as I feel like school counselors and teachers would love to see everything a student does in their 4 years in high school. But like you said, we at times were like, what did you do over the summer? Maybe they held a job or they did a summer program. They were a counselor for a camp. Like those are some leadership qualities and self-discipline for the student. And sometimes teachers don't really get to hear that. So as a advice for students looking for that letter, maybe put a resume, a short cover letter together, just a list of general activities. And for your record, keeps it a little bit easier for you as well when getting ready to apply. So you can start all the way from your freshman year, leading up to your senior year, a list of awards you've received. Those can definitely go a far ways when asking for your counselor, your teacher to write that letter of recommendation on your behalf.
Yeah, definitely. Perfect. Thank you. All right. Next topic, and we kind of touched on this exceptional circumstances. Something happened. So, if I have one of those exceptional circumstances, how best can I communicate that via my own personal essay? Um, do I mention it to my recommenders, my letters of recommendation people, or any other space in there that makes more sense, maybe?
This is a great question. So yes, Actually, all yes to all three of the ways to communicate that with us. So, how this works is again, in the common application, when you're getting ready to submit, there's one more note section there. I can't remember the exact question prompt it presents, but I want to say it just has additional comments. There is where I tell students to share with us anything that happened during the academic year. For example, if they were ill for a period of the year, an injury, if maybe you transition schools in the middle of the year, how did that play a role in your academia? So those are some key things we take into account when looking at your application. We also take that into account when reviewing your transcript as well. We're like, okay, we see this, they explained why, we understand. And then if you want to share that in your personal essay too, please feel free to do so. You can also share with your recommender so they can incorporate into their letter. And another one, aside from the Common App and including your personal essay, as well as your recommender, including in their letter, after you submit your application, you'll get access to an application status page. Well, you'll actually get to view the status of your application. And through this application status page, there will be a section in there where you can actually add in additional materials. This can include a resume, a cover letter, any projects, if it's related to your future major, you can all insert that into your application status page and it will be attached to your file at CU Boulder. So lots of ways to go about it, which I love. Many portals and pathways for students to share with us any type of exceptional circumstances.
Perfect. That's awesome. So there you have it. Yes to all three. I love it. All right. Topic timeline, and we kind of touched on this a little bit here. Often get the question, does it increase my chances? So let's say November 1 is early action, and I beat everybody because I was October 1. Does it increase my chances?
So unfortunately, our deadlines for application, there's no special priority given to either or. So generally, my advice for students, if they're unsure of applying to CU Boulder by the early action deadline versus the regular decision, I generally share that if you want to know about your college decisions earlier on in the start of spring, you have a solidified plan. You and your family are like, we need to have a game plan going forward. I would say definitely aim for that early action deadline. That way you have a good plan going forward. However, though, we also understand I was one of these students. I don't like being rushed into getting all of my documents right away. Feel like I want to make sure I have everything and I'm confident in submitting my application. It definitely hurts to aim for that early decision deadline. So you give your recommender more ample time to write the letter. You have more time to gather all of your documents. And even too, I share with students, like maybe you want to give yourself one more semester to increase your GPA. So definitely I encourage students to maneuver their best decision making on which deadline seems more aligned with them.
Perfect. Perfect. And I think that touches on a great point, and that gets reiterated here at school. Last falls, and it's right there. Free application days were October 15 through 17, so that middle point of October. So if you love working ahead, that is amazing. But also, if you have a list of schools and prioritizing, right? If Boulder is my dream or whatever school is your dream, great, you can prioritize that one. But aiming for that sweet spot, which gives you a good cushion of time, cushions are great things, before a November 1 early action deadline. Very, very wise. I think life happens. You get sick, you fall off your bike, whatever. So cushions are great things for those life happenings, which are never a good feeling when you have an impending deadline. Um,
Yes.
so yeah, perfect. And then often there's such things as early decision, early action, and my students get those confused. Um, so I'll leave it to you to kind of describe the differences, and kind of what those things mean for our kids.
Yeah. Yeah. So early action and early decision, they fall in line with each other. Early action is our deadline for when applications are due on November 15. And when students submit by that deadline, they should start receiving their admission decision by February 1st. So that's generally what our timeline looks like for early action. And then for regular decision and for decisions to come out, that deadline is January 15, and students will begin to receive their mission decisions by April 1st. So those are generally the differences between the two deadlines. Yeah, they're pretty significant in regards to how fast and how soon students receive their mission decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. And yeah, and for me, the biggie is the binding and non-binding, right?
Yes.
Um, so decision binding, action not binding, and sometimes they happen. So a kid's like, nope, this is it. All my eggs, here I go, right here. And amazing. If you know that and you're confident in that, absolutely. Whereas early action, you're being early and you're doing yourself that service by being early, but maybe in a less dramatic way, a little less
Yes,
minded.
yes.
No, wonderful. All right. Let's see. All right. Q&A time, and I saw some things trickling into the parking lot here, so I'm going to move that over and kind of share this tab. This is our parking lot. Let me get it bigger for old eyes like mine. Here we go. So hopefully everyone can see. So the first question is, what percent that you're aware of, what percent of CU is in-state versus out-of-state? And do in-state students get preference?
Yes, I love this question. So, our percentage based off of the fall 2024 census, we have welcomed 43% of non-residents, and then we also welcome 57% of in-state residents. So, kind of like the half and half area of the two students joining us on campus. Colorado, the University of Colorado Boulder is a Colorado flagship institution. So we do our best to making sure that we are serving our students in state. So that's generally our response generally for those percentages for in-state and out-of-state students.
Thank you. And someone was paying attention and listening when we were talking about letters of rec. They asked how many letters of recommendation are required. So I know your answer for Boulder was 1, and they asked from whom. Is it safe to say it should be from a teacher, or are there other folks like a coach or whatever?
Yeah. Generally, we would love for it to come from a teacher that could really highlight the student's journey. And then if students are looking like, well, I want to add maybe 2 more letters, definitely I would say add in a band teacher, an art teacher, a coach, a mentor, your counselor. Definitely those are where those key additional mentors can definitely add in for their application as well.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. And moving on down here, this one I think might be more for like Northfieldy staff. When do you work with students on the brag sheet? So answering that, and I think kind of got mentioned earlier, we kind of hit the ground running when our right now juniors come back. There are rising seniors. So we start the school year, schedule repair window kind of happens, right? And then the dust settles. And we've kind of locked in, okay, here's the courses you're in, right? Because we batch upload for our 500-ish seniors to a program called Maya Learning, which links with Common App. Those initial transcripts, those senior year schedules. So as soon as the dust settles on scheduling, we hit the ground running with students for college admissions. So definitely August is our answer there. And we'll have a template. I have a couple very excited and eager juniors who I provided current year's brag sheet template to kind of get going because they really want to beat the crowd to hit those favorite teachers up for letters. So you can do whatever you want, but we'll hit the ground with our seniors for sure in August. So yeah, and I just told the junior today, this morning at a meeting, to have that face-to-face, give that good time, that face-to-face interaction with your favorite teacher or two, and then to provide them that support of a brag sheet so they can highlight your awesomeness. Let's see. Deadlines for, early decision. So yeah, early action, November 1. Is there separate, different for early decision?
Unfortunately, this realm, I'm not too familiar with early decision. I want to say there is no deadline for early decision. I could be wrong. I can circle back on this question.
Yep,
Um,
worries.
but I want to say it's the same as early action deadline, but I could be wrong. So I will definitely follow up with you all on an answer for this. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. And also I can say by institution it varies.
Yes.
Um, so it most certainly um, it could be all over the place, but I would say often what I see is in line with early action deadlines. Traditionally, there's very few schools I've ever seen with a super mega early October early action deadline. A few though, they
Yeah.
exist. Um,
Very few. Very few.
but most you're going to see a November 1 and sometimes a November 15, somewhere around that, sometimes a December 1. Um, but yeah, I would say if you're aiming to have your stuff in by that free college application days for Colorado, that mid October, you're doing great. Perfect. And then opening it up here, does anyone else have a question? Feel free to throw it here in the parking lot that's been pinned, um, or throw it in the chat here. I have that pulled up. Any questions for our admissions counselor who's here with us? We'll work together. Give it the 5-second countdown. Make sure everyone feels good and they had a chance. In these slides, you have all of our contact information, as well as actually Monique's contact information too. Oh, here we go. We got a couple. Wonderful. Are there days when juniors and seniors can visit campus or stay over to shadow a current student? Ooh, I have not heard of that one.
That's a great question. So, unfortunately, if you know a current student at CU Boulder, I would say that would be the best option. There are rare opportunities not offered for students to shadow a current student. However, though, I want to say that we do offer a variety of tours at CU Boulder. The first one I generally want to share is we have a general information session and a tour all over campus where you even get to see inside of a dorm room to kind of glimpse in what the halls look like. They're held every single day, I want to say, on some weekends as well. So I definitely encourage you to just Google in CU Boulder Tour. A link will pop right up where you actually get to book your visit with us on campus. We host a session in the morning as well as in the afternoon. In the morning, generally the information session starts around 9:30, and then in the afternoon the host is at 1:30. So variety of times to select and dates to visit us on. So that's our general campus and information session. Another option I additionally encourage students and their families to join in on if you want to extend a bit more of your time with us on campus. Each college, school, and program offers their own tour, minus the College of Arts and Sciences, so I apologize for that. But if you're interested in touring the College of Engineering, the Leeds School of Business, School of Education, CMCI, they offer great services for the students. We even get a bit more in-depth knowledge about the programs they offer, the majors, potentially even talk to an academic advisor. But also, too, not only just through our general information and tours, but all the college schools and programs have ambassadors, which are current students, no matter their grade level, first year or senior. They all work together and kind of sharing their experience within the major or just being a student on campus. So I definitely say this is where that part of shadowing what a current student sees on a day-to-day. Definitely encourage students to sign up on those visit and tours with us on campus.
Perfect. Perfect. I'll do the last chat one here, and then there's one more in the parking lot. The chat one is, how is merit or financial aid determined?
Yeah, I must say that unfortunately is not in my expertise, but just to kind of give a general information of that area, it goes based off of students' FAFSA application when they submit it. Generally, we encourage students to do it as soon as possible, and then once the year starts going into and students start to receive their admission decision, they generally receive their financial aid package. A month out after receiving their admission decision, to kind of go a bit more of the tuition cost breakdown. At CU Boulder, we do operate by a tier system tuition. So how our tier system works, it goes based off of what students study at CU Boulder. So it goes based off of your major. Another resource I do want to share, if you want to Google in CU Boulder tier, another table will pop right up for you where it actually organizes it based off of college schools and programs at CU Boulder, and it gives you the estimated cost of tuition for each of those college schools and programs.
Perfect. Perfect. Let's see. Kicking over here, for prestigious schools, does it make sense to do early decision, the binding one? Will it give a better chance if you show that you are committed to go to that school?
CU Boulder, we are a non-demonstrated institution. So generally, what I share with students, definitely do your homework and learning about the institution, taking the time to visit, even doing a virtual visit, or joining them online about any type of webinars to learn about the college, the major you want to move into, go forward. And I would say that would be the best option to kind of make it concrete of which deadline you want to apply for the institution. For CU Boulder, we have our non-binding early action, and then we also have our regular decision as well, non-binding. So generally, I encourage students to kind of take the time to see which deadline adheres more closely to you to give you that ample time to complete your application.
Perfect. And the next one, they were asking for your email address, and I realized that the slide has your picture and stuff that I stole from the website, but not email. Is that public info, or is there like?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I can type it in. Oh, there you go. Yeah, perfect. That is my email address. Yes.
There we go. There we go. Perfect. All right, checking the chat here. All right. Oops, that's a little marker tool. All right. Any other questions? Those were all great questions. Do my little mental silent 5-second countdown. Make sure everyone has a chance to talk or get stuff answered. All right. Well, perfect. If there are no more, I will linger here for a little while. But if there's no more questions, just thank you everybody for logging in and spending some time with us. We're here. We're excited to support your kids as they start throwing their hat out there to get ready for leaving high school. It sounds weird to say out loud because they're not even seniors yet. But every year, I swear, every school year goes faster and faster and faster. So we're here for you. We're happy to support. And thank you very much, Monique, for your time this evening. We appreciate your guidance and wisdom and your contact information. So if folks like, dang it, I woke up tomorrow and I had a question, you can reach out to her. You can reach out to us here. And we're more than happy to support and very much appreciate everybody's time this evening.
Yes, thank you all so much. Happy to connect more with you all. And thank you so much, Northfield staff, for a lot of your help in this amazing presentation. Thank you all.
Thank you.